The pulse do 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 do. The pulse do 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 do.
This is the Pulse of the Eastern Townships broadcast, and I am William Crooks. This episode highlights local talent reaching national and international stages. We begin with Sherbrooke-born short track speed skater Kim Boutin, who's preparing for her third and final Olympic appearance at the 2026 Winter Olympics. A four-time Olympic medalist, Boutin reflects on her career and what it means to finish it on home ice. Next, we hear from Marion Thénault, the Sherbrooke freestyle aerial skier headed to her second Olympics, as she talks about the demands of elite competition and preparing for Milano Cortina. We close with a look at the arts, as Queen of Rock, created and performed by Elyzabeth Diaga, returns to the Théâtre Granada this Saturday. Here are those conversations. This is the Pulse of the Eastern Townships broadcast, and I'm William Crooks. Sherbrooke-born short track speed skater Kim Boutin is preparing for her third and final Olympic appearance as part of Canada's team for the 2026 Winter Games in Milano Cortina. A four-time Olympic medalist, Boutin has spent more than a decade competing at the highest level of international sport and says the upcoming Games, followed by the World Championships in Montreal, will close out her career. I spoke with Boutin on January 15th about growing up in Sherbrooke, the demands of elite competition, and what it means to finish her career on home ice. This is that conversation.
So tell me a little bit about growing up and when you started speed skating and how you got into it.
My brother was doing short track, so my parents just brought me out of practice, and I was like, I want to do it like my brother. So, it started like that in Sherbrooke, and that's how I started.
Okay, now what age were you?
Around 5, I think. Yeah.
Okay, so Felix told me that Sherbrooke is a really good place for speed skating. Is that true?
Yeah, it is. I don't know if it's still accurate, but for a while they were like the best. Most of inscriptions for young kids to learn how to skate. So the parents really liked the way that they were playing. It was they don't have like a hockey stick right away in their hand. It's more like they learn how to skate. So the parents really like that in Sherbrooke too. Yeah. So I think it was the biggest club I think they had for the youngest skaters.
Now, Felix also told me that you have to you start with hockey skates and then you graduate to the longer skates. Is that right?
Yeah. I don't remember the name, but it was Penguin or something like that. So I don't know how level they are, but yeah, you learn how to skate and hockey skate, and after it's the long blade. So it's pretty exciting.
For people who don't know, what's the difference in technique between hockey skating and speed skating?
Oh God! Well, if you put me on a hockey stick, for sure I'm on my butt right away. It's so round, it's not the same at all, and they have more support. I think on the ankles. For us, it's really the skate is really low, so we don't really have the support on the ankle. It's really different, all stable, you can be. But the thing that we don't know sometimes is we all have a bend, and I don't know how to, the hockey skate, they have round blades, but we also have those kind of curve in our blades. It just it doesn't really show because it's so different.
Okay, and you're, just to confirm, you are a short track speed skater, and you're solo and relay, right?
Yeah. Oh, it's been since I'm 17, I think. So I'm 31 now. It's been a while.
Wow. Okay, so basically your whole adult life has been a professional athlete.
Yeah, I think on the national. So I think it's my 13 years on the international circuit. So it's it's been a while that I'm doing international competition. Yeah.
Now, some sports are for, like, for instance, weightlifting, you can be older. You can be in your 40s. Mm-hmm. Is speed skating like a young person's sport?
I think the women are pretty young. Like, they start to being good kind of young, around like 17, 16. They kind of be on the national team. I think the oldest girl right now is 36, and it's Ariana Fontana. She's going to be at Milan. She's the, I think, 11th time Olympic medalist. Probably going to be the last game. I'm not sure. I don't. But yeah, I feel like 36. It can be like the oldest girl who skated. Yeah. So I think it's pretty. The average, I'll say, like, it's more 30, 31, 32 for the girls.
And so this is not your first Olympics?
It is not. It's my third one.
Okay, great. And just give me an idea of your achievements before. What places and medals you got?
I did 3 medals in Pyeongchang in all 3 individual distance, and another individual distance for a 5 at Peking. So I have 4 Olympic medalists in all individual. So I don't have any in team. So it's really our goal this year to reach that podium with the girls and the boys. Maybe
this is an ignorant question, but is there a difference between female speed skating and male speed skating? Like, are there different strategies or anything like that?
The only difference that I can see, it's like they have a longer relay. So it's the 5K instead of the 3K for girls. So for us, it's kind of past at the beginning. The boys it's a little bit longer, so they take a little bit more strategy. And for, I think, otherwise, the strategy are pretty similar because we have like the 5, 1,000, and the 15 the same distance as the guys. So it's pretty the same. Okay, so I mean, like I said, you've been an elite athlete your whole adult life. Just give people an idea of what that's like. I mean, Felix said, train, sleep, eat, train. Is that right? It does. Well, I did that for a while. I think for me it was a little bit more, for my mental health, I needed to have something else a little bit outside of eating. So school was really important for me, and also just having something else, seeing my friends a little bit more, my family. So that was really important for me because, for 4 years you can do that for sure. But for surviving in the higher level sport, you have to. Well, I needed to something else a little bit more.
Okay, so the Olympics is coming up, but then it's the Worlds 3 weeks later in Montreal, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Is the Worlds basically the same as the Olympics, or are there differences there?
It's really different. It's more the games. It's like every distance have a day of competition, and for the World, it's like or 5 distance in 3 days. So it's really short. It's pretty compact. So you really need to be in shape to succeed on those days.
Do you plan on staying speed skating as long as you can, or are you thinking about this will be your last Olympics, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, it's gonna be my last for sure. I feel for me, I think I touch a lot of aspects of my sport, and I feel now as I'm comfortable to do something else. So I think it's gonna be my last competition, the World in Montreal.
That was Canadian Olympic short track speed skater Kim Boutin speaking about her journey from Sherbrooke to the world stage and her decision to make the 2026 Winter Games her final Olympics. Boutin will also compete at the World Championships in Montreal shortly after the Games, marking the final international competition of her career. You can read the full interview now at pulsetownships.com. I'm William Crooks, And always remember, keep that finger on the pulse. I'm William Crooks, and this is the Pulse of the Eastern Townships broadcast. From Sherbrooke to the world's biggest winter sports stage, Marion Thénault has built one of the most impressive resumes in Canadian freestyle skiing. A former gymnast turned elite aerial skier, Thénault is preparing for her second Olympic appearance as she heads to the 2026 Winter Games in Milano Cortina, Italy. In this interview, she speaks about her path into aerials, the risks and rewards of competing triple flips, and what it takes, mentally and physically, to compete among the best in the world. Here is Marion Thénault.
So, I mean, you're SB-based. Where did you grow up, and how did you get into skiing?
I grew up in Sherbrooke. My mom and dad... my dad is from France, and he went to Sherbrooke University, and he met my mom there, so I'm a product of the University of Sherbrooke. And I grew up in Sherbrooke, and I was a gymnast at the local club Cher Gym. And it's actually later on I did my high school at Le Triolet in sport-études gymnastics.
Okay.
And then when I was 17, I did RBC training ground again at Sherbrooke University, and that's when I was recruited in freestyle skiing. So that came later in my life.
And there's obviously a lot of crossover between gymnastics and freestyle skiing, I guess.
Yes, that's why I was recruited also, definitely for my acrobatic skills, not for my skiing skills, actually. So yeah, all the air sense, knowing where you are in the air, kind of the adrenaline and being able to flip, that's like the characteristics they looked for freestyle. Now
tell me a little bit about your, how long have you been competing at the highest level, I guess I would say?
Well, I made the national team in May 2020, if I'm not mistaken. So my first World Cup tour was November 2020 to March 2021. And that's where I did my first World Cup podium and my first World Cup win as well. It was that season, which qualified me for the Olympics the year after. And so I guess that's the beginning of my, let's say, high-performance career. So it's been 5 years now, 5 or 6 years. Yeah.
And how, generally, how have you done? Are you always on the podium? Sorry, excuse my ignorance.
Well, I'm I guess amongst the best in the world now. I have 13 World Cup podiums, 1 Olympic medal. I've finished the tour in the top 3 overall 3 times in the past 5 years. In the past 5 years, I was in the top 3 times, cumulative. So yeah, I'm up there, definitely.
Do you train in Quebec in Esprit, or where do you train?
I moved to Quebec City, close to Quebec City in Lac-Beauport. That's where the National Training Center for Aerials is. So I moved there when I started to, have to train more and make the national team. So now Sherbrooke is kind of where my dad lived, and that's where I come when I want to see friends and family, but I don't live there anymore. Okay,
so tell me a little, what does it take to be a really good aerial skier?
I mean, there's a lot of things. I mean, of course, air sense, being an acrobat, I think being the first one. Yes, doing good jumps is fun, but I mean, most of the time the reality is that we make mistakes or we have the wrong speed, so it's very important to be able to bring it back to your feet no matter what, and that takes a lot of acrobatic skills. And then, there's a lot of fear management as well. It is scary, and it's not true that we don't feel the fear, we just live with the fear. So I think a lot of, fear management and have a strong mind are important. And I would say resilience too, because again, mistakes will happen, and in aerials, sometimes mistakes can hurt. So being able to bounce back from that is something that's very challenging, but also teaches you a lot about yourself. So I think resilience is important. I would say that would be my top 3.
Now, is there something special about your skis? Are there special aerial skis?
Yeah, they're made for aerials. They're shorter. My skis are 150s, and they are not wide. I don't know the width, but like they're very narrow, and they don't have, like they basically don't have a curve. They're made to go straight, and they are light because in the air. I mean, I need to carry them in my flips, so they're not very good for carving. Actually, they're very bad for carving.
Okay, so you've been at the highest level since 2020, very accomplished. What has changed about maybe your strategy over the years? Do you do much better tricks than you started? Is it the same thing but like better executed? Like what's changed?
Well, now I'm working on bigger tricks. So in aerials, like let's say on the world scene, you can do two different type of kickers. One, you come in at like 55 kilometers an hour, and then you do two flips, and then you can add how many twists you want. So that was what I was competing at the last games, and it brought me a lot of success on the world scene. And most women don't decide to make the switch to the bigger jump just because you got to decide if it's worth it for you and if you're ready for it. The other jump is, so it's called a triple kicker. You come in at 65 kilometers an hour and you do three flips with how many twists you want. So I decided, after the last Olympics, I decided to start working on them, and it's been a journey, but right now, like last year, I competed for the first time a triple twisting, triple backflip, which is amongst like the hardest tricks that are being competed on the women's side. So I guess that has changed a lot because it's more risky, but it's also more rewarding because I'm the type of athlete that I'm motivated by challenge and by things I'm like not sure I can do, let's put it that way. So as soon as me and my coach decided to work on triples, it became my focus, and it still is. So I have very good doubles that I could compete, but I decide to go big or go home kind of thing.
So that'll be your strategy going into the Olympics next week?
Yes, I want to compete my biggest tricks there. Yeah. And at the Olympics, like everybody peaks at the Olympics, basically. Like the Olympics is not a place where people play safe usually. So I expect to see all of the women that are able to do triples there. So if you want to win the Olympics, you kind of don't have the choice to go for your bigger tricks. And I know that when I successfully land my biggest trick, I'm definitely able to podium.
You've been to the Olympics before. Like, what does it feel like? What would you say the experience is like going to the Olympics?
Well, last time in Beijing 2022, it was COVID, so I'm sure the experience will be different. But despite COVID, what I remember is that it was very fun because it really is a celebration of sports. Like, of course, there's a lot of pressure and so much more media attention than in the World Cups. Like, I do these tricks every year. I compete every year against the same people, but like, there's just kind of no hype around it. But when it comes to the Olympics, all the hype is condensed into that like month before the games, which is kind of crazy, but also kind of fun. So there's this hype for sure. And what's so fun is like that there's so many sports, so you get to be part of a bigger team. It's not just your sport, it's all of the Canadian athletes that are there, and that's a very special feeling, and I'm really looking forward to that.
That was Canadian freestyle aerial skier Marion Thénault speaking about her journey from Sherbrooke gymnastics to the Olympic stage, her evolution as an athlete, and her strategy heading into the Milano Cortina Games. Thénault will represent Canada in freestyle aerial skiing as she looks to build on her World Cup success and Olympic experience. You can read the full interview and story at posttownships.com. Thanks for listening. I'm William Crooks, and this is the Pulse of the Eastern Townships broadcast. This is CGMQ 88.9 FM. Sherbrooke audiences are getting another chance to experience Queens of Rock this weekend, as performer and creator Elyzabeth Diaga returns to the Théâtre Granada following a strong audience response to her October 2024 show. The production celebrates 40 years of women in rock, featuring music associated with artists such as Heart, Pat Benatar, Blondie, Joan Jett, and Alanis Morissette, with Diaga joined on stage by 5 musicians. The February 7th performance will also include new material added specifically for the Sherbrooke audience. I spoke with Elyzabeth Diaga about why the city left such a strong impression, the artists who influenced her, and what audiences can expect from this return performance. I'm William Crooks, and this is our conversation.
Okay, so Sherbrooke audiences clearly left an impression last time, according to your press release. What was so great about October 2024 that made you want to come back for another date?
Well, I had waited to go play at the Granada for a very long time. I played there in, I don't know what year, with another show called Rock Story. And I had always told myself that I would play this theater with my own show, Queens of Rock, right? So in October 2024, we had really like an electric connection that night. So I was looking forward. It was just normal that I want to come back and rock with the people in Sherbrooke, you know.
So Queens of Rock celebrates 40 years of women in rock. Was there a particular artist or song that first made you fall in love with rock music?
Well, I've always been a rocker inside. I don't really remember what songs made me fall in love with rock music, but I know that when I first saw Pat Benatar, I really connected with her dynamic, with her force. She's this tiny woman with this brute force, you know, and I really loved her voice, and I used to roller skate to her music, right? So I would say, like, my first connection to female rock was Pat Benatar.
Now, apparently you've added 2 new songs for the Sherbrooke performance. Without spoiling anything, what can people expect emotionally from these additions?
Well, they'll expect, you never know what to expect when you come see Queens of Rock. I think that the emotion, the songs are placed well in the show. I think that they'll be probably surprised and happy because these are songs that I was asked to do for a long time. So I finally caved in, but I did them my way. So I think it's going to be a nice surprise.
The show is known for its big energy, costumes, and visuals. How important is the theatrical side of rock for you as a performer?
It is very important, not essential, mind you, but it's very important for me to show the different eras of the show, because we cover 40 years of rock and roll. We go from, the style of the 80s, then we go up to the 90s and the 2000s. So the theatrics, the looks and the costumes accentuate vibes and feelings from the eras, but we could do the same show with one light and me and my musicians, and it would probably be the same show. It's just that it gives a nice vibe, and it brings people into those different moods, right? So, yeah, it is very important.
Okay, so you perform music from icons like Benatar, like you mentioned, Blondie, and Alanis Morissette. So you talked about Benatar a little bit already, but which of these artists feels closest to you personally, and why?
I think that the closest artist to me is Ann Wilson from Heart, because we are very similar in character, and I've met her, and I know why I say this now. She is the embodiment of powerful rock vocals, and she's been doing it and still doing it even after, going through cancer and everything. So I'm very connected, and I do a lot of art in my show because, to me, she's always felt like the protector of women. I don't know why, but her voice is also very similar. Well, my voice is similar to hers,
Okay, and for someone who's never seen Queens of Rock before, how would you describe the experience in one sentence?
One sentence. It's hard. It's going to be a long sentence. Queens of Rock is like my love letter to the legendary women of rock who broke barriers and made it possible for me to express myself in this way. And it has become my life's work. But the show in itself is an electrifying, high-energy show where I channel their voices, their spirits, their power, but all that to give the audience an unforgettable experience. And I hope that's what will come out of their evening, is a very, very deep connections that I love to have with the audience. So
that was Elyzabeth Diaga, creator and performer of Queens of Rock, speaking about the show's return to Sherbrooke this Saturday, February 7th at the Théâtre Granada. Tickets are available through the theater's box office and the Réseau Ovation ticketing platform. I'm William Crooks for CJMQ 88.9 FM. You've been listening to stories from Sherbrooke athletes and artists making their mark at home and on the world stage. From Olympic-bound competitors Kim Boutin and Marion Thénault to Queens of Rock, created and performed by Elyzabeth Diaga, returning to the Théâtre Granada this Saturday. You can read the full stories and interviews at posttownships.com. Thanks for listening, and always remember, keep that finger on the pulse.
The pulse, doo 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 doo. The pulse, doo 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 doo. Townships interviews. Don't forget breaking news. The pulse, the pulse, the pulse. Broadcast just for you. We're heading out for a cruise, or lying there for a snooze. The pulse, the pulse, the pulse. Broadcast just for you. Hey, I know that guy. Hey, I know that gal too. The pulse, the pulse, the pulse. Broadcast just for you. The townships are the muse. Make sure to choose the pulse, the pulse, the pulse, the pulse. The pulse, the pulse, the pulse, the pulse. The pulse of the Eastern Townships, broadcast just for you.